Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. Today is a Strategizing with Stacy day. So that means what we've got going on is I'm going to bring on 2 or 3 clients every week when I do these and just let them do some on-air coaching. I know a lot of times when I'm strategizing with somebody inside of Foot Traffic Formula, so many of our other clients, they might not even ask a question that day, but they'll get so much out of the feedback and coaching that we're doing with one of our clients. So we thought, why not give them some extra time with me? But then you get to watch it and get some benefit of it. So I'm super excited. We've got some great guests today, and we're just going to dive right in. So let me bring on Renee. Hi, Renee. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, Stacy. Thank you.
Yeah. So Renee, why don't you first just give like a very short overview of your business so people have some backstory, and then jump in with your question.
Okay. So I teach sewing and dressmaking skills to all ages and no matter where you are in your sewing journey. So I have a kids teen class. I take people who sew that need to freshen up their skills. And then I also take experienced sewists and help them develop their skills even further. So that's me in a snapshot.
Perfect.
I also teach local community ed classes, and I'm really looking to now pivot to go online. And that's part of coming on this is, so where I am at with it is there are a lot of people already in the marketplace. There's craftsy.com that a lot of the big names in sewing are already on there. I follow several on YouTube. There's a gal who I really like a lot that is in Iowa that does very similar to me. However, she has a bigger name and a broader audience than I do. However, I still feel that I'm niche. I am really looking at doing more of a personal coaching thing where people sign up for my membership, and I'll have basic sewing instruction online, but really what my heart is to get the struggling sewer past their roadblocks and understand their fitting and make them successful in their sewing. So that's me.
All right. What is your question for us today?
So how do I go up against these big guns in getting my name out there and getting them to understand what I'm really offering is a more personalized service.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I mean to be so broken, I'm thinking of 2 different things. One where it's a group coaching thing where it's more affordable, because sewers are DIYers, they're going to want to spend a lot. And then I would offer, just like I do in my studio, a 1-to-1 that would be at a higher price point.
Okay. So first, let's kind of just go back for let's go back for a second. I'm going to ask you this, but I want every listener to listen to this question. Have you ever stumbled upon somebody on Instagram, on YouTube, you've never heard of them before, but they have a massive following? Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah. I've seen where people have done that.
Right? Yeah. So all of a sudden you're on Instagram, somebody pops up in your algorithm. You're like, who is this? And you click on them and they have 150,000 followers, right? My point here is just because somebody is big in your space does not mean everybody knows who they are. Okay. So they could have a lot of followers. They could be a big player, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Because there could be somebody that has never heard of that person, but finds you. So first, just know like that happens frequently, okay? The next piece is you were ready. I mean, I know you're a client, so you're already thinking, how do I stand out? How do I be different? You know that. You can't compete against some of these big people playing the game that they're playing. So I think the way that your brain is working, Renee, is perfect. You're saying, well, stores are doing this, and if you're DIY, you wouldn't want that, and you'd want this. And so I think lean in to the gap in the marketplace and what you can provide. So I always say, like, there's 2 parts, right? And this got me through COVID so much. Like, I would just say to myself, what do they want? What can I give them? Right? What do they want? What can I give them? Now, there's going to be a bunch of things in both categories, and there's going to, let's do circles. There's going to be just a few that overlap. You know how if I was doing my little diagram, there'd be a little section.
Yep.
Sell in that little section, right? And just keep asking, what do they want? What could I give? What do they want? What could I give? And then find the mutual pieces and lean into that. Does that help?
So I'm looking, yep, I'm looking to kick off. I've created a lead magnet, is a sewing planner for a year, and offering that as kind of either as a webinar or like a 3-day boot camp on how to kick off. And it doesn't have to be a first of the year, just getting started planning your sewing. I'll know if you don't plan, you don't make time for it. And I find that's true with a lot of sewers. And then by going through, whether I make a webinar on how to use it and they download it, or I make it a several day kind of boot camp on how to use it, then offer my membership at the end as a way to launch it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's great. You definitely want to make sure that as long as you've got very crystal clear on what the membership is going to offer, it's just teasing it nicely, right? If you can answer, yes, the people that take this masterclass or this series or this whatever are going to be the same types of people that I'm going to try to attract for the product itself, you're golden. But when you start to have these lead magnets or freebies that there's a disconnect, right? Then of course the conversion is going to be very small, if any.
My target is people who either struggle to make time for sewing or with sewing in general. It's people who are already, it's part of their everyday life, don't really need me unless they need to grow a new skill. I'm really wanting to the people that have unfinished projects in their drawer, or and they stop because they hit a roadblock, or they're an advanced newbie, but they don't know how to take on these bigger projects, dressmaking projects.
I think you're probably better off finding the person that wants to make the time and is ready to make the time versus like, I wouldn't help them necessarily find the time, because if you do, you're already saying that it's not a priority. They're not interested. So if you're trying to find people that aren't necessarily trying to squeeze it in, it's going to be harder. But if you go back and you say like, you know, maybe phrasing it as like finding a new hobby. I don't know about you, but when I was doing my goal setting for 2021, I wrote down hobbies and I was like, what is this going to look like this year? Right? Helping them find that hobby, finding a new hobby, and then incorporating that new hobby into their current schedule. But come at it from somebody who is wanting to do it and wants to find the time and is ready to make the time versus they're saying they don't have the time and you're trying to convince them otherwise.
Gotcha. And I've had huge growth this year because of COVID.
Yeah, I bet.
Because we're at home with nowhere to go do anything. And my funnel through you, my kids' class has exploded. I've had 4 new people sign up last 14 days. So, but people still are cautious about coming out. And that's where I'm looking to pivot to offer this online, or that they can meet with me online and get what they need.
Yeah. Don't forget about being a resource for what sewing machine do I buy? What inexpensive sewing machines can I buy? Let's say somebody wants to get serious and you're like, if you're serious and you're looking to spend some money, here are the top 5 ones I would recommend. Here are the top 5 budget-friendly ones I'd recommend. You know, set up affiliate links, get that going so that as people are looking online, you're that resource. Makes sense? Yeah.
So I have just one more question. Coming up on my 2-year anniversary in my studio, I'm having a new web totally redone, more feminine, more attractive, faster. And going from my personal WordPress that I developed myself to having it professionally done, he's having me drop the blog because it's too much to bring it over. He is suggesting that I start a new blog, another server, and then just have the link on my web page. What do you think of that?
Okay, so hang on. So he's saying not to bring the blog over. Can you start it fresh on the new website? This is why
I would have to ask him that
This is why you want a blog on your website, okay? Google, because you're local. This is your local business. You want to show up high on Google search engine, right? You want to show up high as people are typing in certain things. Well, what happens is one of the reasons people show up higher is because the website's being updated and it's telling Google, this is a relevant website. We update it. Okay. Because Google's number one priority is to deliver relevant, up-to-date information. So if your competitor has a website that's 3 years old and they haven't touched it, there's no blog, there's nothing on it, they're not going to show up high. So the reason you want the blog on the website is because you'll be making frequent updates to the website, telling Google, we're relevant, show us. So I would be really careful that you're taking away something that could help you increase the relevance score.
What if I did a YouTube channel, which is a Google platform, and I can be found on there, and if they want my services, direct them back to the website? My web developer seems to be really pushing back over the blog thing.
I question if you have the right web developer. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but I can't imagine any web developer that is in it for. So here's the thing. Some people are in it to just deliver the project, get their money, and they're out. And some people are like, I've got to get you the best quality. So you come back, you keep coming back, etc. I just can't believe a web developer wouldn't see the value for a business owner to have a blog on their website. So if he's pushing back, I think he either doesn't know how to do it, it's going to be a big project for him, or the website you're currently using doesn't have great capacity for it. There's got to be something going on there.
Well, the thing is, because I'm in a budget and I'm only a couple years old, that it was going to cost me a lot of money for him to bring it over, and I don't know what it was going to be for me to be able. I will bring these questions to him, and I will update you.
Yeah. And then what I would suggest is you don't have to bring all the blogs over. Start fresh. Start fresh and just start putting one of those old blogs back on there once a week to get it going. Yeah. I can see him saying like, you got 2 years worth of stuff to bring it over. It's going to cost you X, Y, Z. Totally get that. But at the same time, you could find a virtual assistant to manually do some of this stuff if you needed to at a much cheaper price point than a $90 an hour guy. I don't know how much he costs, but they can be expensive. Yeah. And he might be totally telling you the truth. He might be like, listen, Renee, it's going to cost you $1,000 to just do the blog. It doesn't make sense. But if you've got us, so we can tell you how to get a VA to help you do this, you can get it much cheaper. But I would definitely make sure you've got a blog there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's what I needed to hear, because I haven't known how to express to him how important the blog was.
Yeah. Yeah. And there could be many reasons why he's pushing back on it, but I think you have to remind yourself, you're the business owner, you're getting marketing coaching, and you have an opinion here too, which sometimes they think like they're the marketing expert, but it's your business. And if you want it, I think go for it. And not that you have to have it, but what I'm telling you is there's a lot of reasons people have blogs on their websites.
Great. Yeah. He does a lot of brick and mortar type of businesses that don't blog. So I think that is one of the reasons why.
Yeah. And let's be honest, there's a lot of brick and mortar businesses that are great at the product, the program, the service they're delivering, but they're not great business owners. So I'm not surprised that somebody who's dealing with all these brick and mortars is dealing with other brick and mortars that don't have great marketing tactics, right? That's the reason I feel like I can compete in my market, is because I actually have marketing experience. So when I'm competing with my brick and mortars in my area, it's a little bit of an easier game than it is online, where everybody knows all of the strategies, right? Yeah. So just be careful.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, Renee. Thank you so much for jumping on.
No problem.
Renee, where can people find your sewing website or just more details on it?
So you can find me at www.sewingandfitting FITTING mentor.com. Same thing on Facebook. And then with Instagram, it's at sewing_and_fitting_mentor. That's where you can
if you want to go on the chat and put any of those links in there, feel free to do that. And then Renee, before you leave, I want to ask you one question about foot traffic, because you are in the program.
Yes.
What is your biggest, like your favorite part of the program? Like what is something you get the most value out of? I know that can be different for everybody. So I'm just curious what yours is.
I have probably two most favorite things. One is because I was afraid of funnels before I joined. I had never created one. I knew they were important. I knew landing pages were important. I just could not wrap my mind around it. And so my other favorite part is Kristen and Erica. It's Kristen when I was in the boot camp. was in there with me all the way through it back in October. And then to have a personal coach that I'm talking to each month that is keeping me accountable and helping me set goals and making sure and following up and saying, do you have any questions? Are there any hiccups? She even wished me Merry Christmas over the holidays. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then and the encouragement from other members, it's when the congrats come up and I make sure I make a point of going, way to go. That's awesome. You made it to level 2. It's truly a community. And that's my favorite part.
I love that so much. Renee, thank you so much for jumping on today.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
See you later. All right, you guys, we have another client that I'm going to be bringing on, Tracy, just here in a second. I hope you can really take this and not be like, well, I don't have a sewing business, so this isn't going to help me, right? You got to get out of that mindset. You have to ask yourself, oh, I didn't know that about the blog. I didn't know that about the website developer. And maybe it's nothing to do with the website or the blog. Maybe you're realizing, wow, I've never questioned a contractor before. I've always just, paid them and then took their word and did what they said. I've never really gone back and asked or requested, right? So I want you to take away from this conversation whatever you need to take away from it today, okay? All right, Tracy, let's bring you on. Hi, Tracy. Oh, I can't. Can you fix I think you might be muted. Yeah. There we go.
I'm sorry,
Hi,
I was muted. Hi. How are you?
Good. Why don't you tell us real quick, 30 seconds about your business and then ask me your question.
I am building my coaching practice into an online space. Okay. For over a year, I've had it local and private, one-to-one, and that's not scalable. So my online focus, even though I coach privately men and women, my online focus is going to be female entrepreneurs that already have a business that are feeling stuck. I don't like that word, but overwhelmed.
That's what they're going to say. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it doesn't matter if it's a time management organization making their schedule work for them kind of a thing, or knowing how to reach out without feeling salesy or annoying or pushy. Going deeper with clients, just what their struggles, and then helping them find confidence with all of those things.
Love it. What's your question for me?
Oh, I have several. So you have to tell me when to stop.
Okay, I will. You're good.
Okay. So in foot traffic formula, and I've been watching and learning and taking notes, a lot of times when someone's going through their launch, they're talking about how exhilarating it is, but it's also exhausting. Yeah. Okay. So can you tell me as a
newbie, just stop right there. You're right.
So can you tell me as a newbie, why is it exhausting? What do I need to know? What corners do I need to see around? What am I getting myself into?
Yeah. Okay. So why is launching exhausting? But at the same time, you keep doing it. So clearly it's a good thing. It's like having a baby, right? You're like, I'm never going to do this again. And then you're like, we're pregnant with our 7th.
But we're getting a puppy. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the point here is, launching can lead to great results, which is why people are on a high. Okay. But it's also in real time and things can happen that are unexpected, right? So you could be doing your Facebook ads could be doing phenomenal and you're crushing it. And you're like, I wonder what tomorrow is going to bring. And then tomorrow you find out your Facebook ads were disapproved or your account was shut down. And you're like, right. Every day it's something new happens. Okay. Or the day that Instagram won't work is the day you go to open your cart, right? And you have the Instagram strategy. It's just one of those things you can't plan. And because it's time sensitive, you have to do it today, right? I also think you don't know what's truly going to happen. I'm going into a boot camp on Monday, right? I do these, oh my goodness. I couldn't even tell you how many I've done because I do them so much. I don't know what Monday's going to bring. I don't know what the engagement's going to feel like. I don't know what the energy is going to feel like because it's live and you don't know, did the Facebook ads bring in the right people? Did we get some of the wrong people? And who knows, right? So when I show up on Monday, I'm going to bring my A game, but I have to see what does this room feel like? And that even changes it. If I notice that, wow, engagement is super low, nobody came, what happened, you guys? We have to get scrappy behind the scenes in real time to go message everybody and say, hey, here's the replay. You missed day 1. It was phenomenal. We'll see you back here for day 2. Right? Okay. So do you see how you just don't know what you don't know until you're in it? And then you're and honestly, open cart could be, guys, nobody bought. What do I do? And then you're going to have to work like a crazy person to figure this out. Yeah. And then on the opposite end, you're like one time when I was a solopreneur, I was having too many clients buy and I literally couldn't keep up, which sounds amazing, but not when you're the only person and you can't keep up with everything, right? So it's like there's opposite ends of the extreme. If it goes well, there's a lot to do on the fulfillment end. If it doesn't go well, there's a lot to do on the sales side to get people excited and buying.
Okay.
So the more you can prepare and plan, the better off you will be. But you can't really plan for the unknown.
Got it. Yeah, I can't plan for everything.
You can't. Or like your email that you thought was scheduled to go out every single day. They're like, what email? We're not getting emails. And it just pulls you in to ConvertKit or your tech. And you're like, what's going on with the emails? Stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Another question I have that I personally experienced this week, and Cara, my community coach, helped me, and then Megan Summerall, who's a good friend, who's in the program, also helped me with this. When do you know when it's time to hire something out, to like just stop the presses on trying to learn it and be like, I can't, because the tech part is intimidating to me. I'm determined to not let it intimidate me anymore. But I spent 4 days trying to get my domain to hook up to this stuff and this thing in Funnel Gorgeous. And I'm just like,
how do I do this? Right. Okay. So this is definitely, we could go a couple directions. So I'll just kind of talk through this.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, time to get this thing off my plate, I hate it, I don't know what I'm doing, it's taking me way longer than it should. The next question is though, can I afford it? Right? Is there money to bring this on? And if there's not, what can I do in order to make that money? Or what can I do to say to this person coming on, you're going to be responsible for XYZ, and I can see the potential of that position making money. So let's say I did not have money right now and I really wanted to hire somebody for Google AdWords. Okay. So do you see how I might not have money right now for him? I mean, I would obviously have money to figure it out, but all of a sudden I might think in my head, but maybe he could start generating income in this role in the next 90 days and I'll be okay. Versus a graphic designer that wouldn't be bringing in money. Let's say it's just somebody who's doing some things for you, and you really better make sure you have the payroll to pay her in 3 months from now, whatever that looks like. So it depends on what those roles are. If you're hiring somebody for tech to launch something that's going to make you higher conversions, or the ads are going to be cheaper, or they're going to convert better, like an email sequence. I know sometimes people look at copywriting and they think, well, I don't have the money for that. Yes, but when you get a good copywriter writing those emails, you will have the money for it, right? Because they just taught. I am not a feeler. I am like, here's what you need to know. Buy foot traffic formula. See you later. And people don't buy that, you guys. They don't buy that. They need to hear like the emotional side and the storytelling, and you've got to really share. Well, if that's not my strength, hiring a copywriter will be a phenomenal expense for me. It'll be a revenue generator, right?
Okay. That's super helpful.
I know. I didn't give you an exact answer, but you see where my mind is going. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. No, that idea about bringing somebody on with an incentive for that person to generate income, and that's the way you pay them. That's really
I think let's go there for a second. So business owners think, oh, this is a responsibility. I have to pay 20 people. I would never want a team as big as yours, Stacy. I'm like, listen, I have a responsibility to pay that person for doing the work that they're providing, but they have a responsibility to perform. And if I have to let them go because they are not performing, that is not my fault and it is not my problem, right? Now, a good manager, a good leader would be sharing performance reviews and evaluations of like, listen, here's what I'm seeing. I need to see this. But a lot of times people take so much ownership and they think I could never hire somebody. What if I had to fire them? Right. Well, the only reason you should have to fire is if lack of performance. So when I hire, I'm flat out telling this role, here is what I'm expecting of you. Here is what I need you to be able to do to keep this role going. Or this just doesn't make sense. If 90 days from now or a year from now, I'm not making any more money because of what the work you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Perfect sense.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Go for it.
Okay. So we talk about red ocean versus blue ocean. And so I think that my approach and my idea for my course is going to be blue ocean.
Okay.
It looks a little red ocean-y, maybe purple ocean.
Okay.
But how do we
get it over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you think it's blue ocean? First, background for everybody. Blue Ocean Strategy is a book, and it's a strategy that is talked about heavily in this book, Blue Ocean Strategy. Go check it out. But it basically means not saturated versus saturated, being the Netflix in a sea of blockbusters, right? So why do you think you're blue ocean? Tell me what.
So I think I'm blue ocean because I have a way of showing up in the world that nobody else does.
Okay.
People want to buy from people they know, like, and trust. So people will sign up with me because it's me. It's like you mentioned, you might not be someone's cup of tea, but then you might versus another coach that's out there teaching the very same thing. So that makes me think that I have a shot at being blue ocean.
Okay. Can I pause you?
Yes.
Not blue ocean. Here's why. Because that would make us all blue ocean. We're all different. We're all unique, right? Yeah. So it's being unique is a must, and you have to be unique even in a red ocean to stand out. It sounds like you're in a red ocean, but you've got a unique spin that might get people exciting. So let's go to Netflix, right? Netflix wasn't just like, it wasn't like a prettier version of Blockbuster that was different and kinder or sweeter or prettier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I wouldn't even compare Netflix to Blockbuster. Right. Whereas if you're saying, well, I'm this kind of coach and I could compare you to lots of other coaches just like that, but you're unique, it doesn't put you in Netflix category. Okay. Yeah. So what we have to say is all of the coaches are doing X, Y, Z. Okay. What is something so radically different that no one is doing?
Okay.
That's what starts to put you in blue ocean. Does that make sense?
It does. And does that go back to Renee's, the answer you gave her about asking, what do they want? What can I give? And that leads you to the blue ocean?
It's almost like it leads you to something that doesn't even exist.
Okay.
And that's what makes it blue ocean. When you're like, oh my goodness, we've been just doing private calls in Voxer, but what if I did this instead? Right?
Okay. Yeah. So don't beat myself up because I don't have my blue ocean yet.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. I'm working on my blue ocean. No, please. It's something that, and here's the sad part, Netflix, they're the Netflix, but you guys, Netflix isn't just Netflix anymore. It's Hulu and it's all the other guys, right? They very quickly became Netflix competitors. Okay. In fact, my friend just said, oh, I just got rid of Netflix. I have Hulu now. Right. So now Netflix or whoever, someone has to stand back out. So it's like you crawl out to the blue ocean, but the sharks keep coming, right? You got to keep being creative. You got to keep being innovative to keep finding the next blue ocean. And honestly, my studio, I felt like we were so comfortable. And when COVID came, it was like, oh, shoot, right? The red ocean just came not the red ocean, because it's like the saturation didn't change, but the demand was gone, right? And all of a sudden, we had to say, what can we do now to step apart? Because we have to be so much better than our competitors to get just the small market that is left to say yes to dance and music classes.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Tracy, I hope that was good. I love where we went with that conversation.
Thank you.
Where can people find you if you want to send them someplace on social?
Well, I said my website's not up yet. I'm trying to do it myself. So I'm on Facebook. It's Stacy Lane Beavers, TRACY, and then LANE, and then Beavers is my last name, just like the animal. I'm on Facebook. Connect with me. Send me a DM. Let's chat about your struggles and what you need help with. And I don't know, I might recommend him to Foot Traffic for you.
I love it. As we're talking about foot traffic, what is your favorite part?
I agree with everything Renee said. It's just, I have been searching for this past year a roadmap. First of all, I needed to figure out what I wanted to do. And I finally did. And my ideal customer and my messaging. But then it's like, now what do I do? And I don't, a funnel, that's foreign to me. And a lot of the things that we're talking about, I'd never heard before, but your team is there to answer all of my questions and not make me feel silly for any question that I ask. Cara is my community coach. She's amazing. She lets me vent when I feel like I'm going to run screaming down the highway. Yeah. And she kind of pulls me back and says, we got this. You got this. I'm here. You can do this. The community is amazing. It's mostly women. All of the ladies that are in the group are just cheering each other on. And I just feel like I have a roadmap.
Good.
I really do. And I like that.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks. Tracy, so good. You guys, if you want to put in the chat your links or anything, feel free to do that. All right. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. These were clients inside of Foot Traffic Formula. If you ever want to find out about our coaching program that we have, you can go to foottrafficprogram.com for all of the details. And if you are one of our Foot Traffic clients, make sure you ask your coach how you can get on here and do some bonus calls with me, all right? We've got some amazing things coming your way. We've got our next live boot camp kicking off on Monday. You can go to stacytuschel.com/traffic. We're talking 10 free or low-cost ways to drive more traffic. You are not going to want to miss it. It's only $17. Get in. And those 10 things, we're talking for 5 days. And there's some bonus trainings in there as well. But we are going to blow you away with the strategies we have to share. And like I said, that kicks off Monday. It is stacytuschel.com/traffic.